I know. It's amazing the idea.
But that's such a future thing. It's like, oh, we teach calculus to
grade school,
the 8-year-olds. Like, of course you do. You're in the future.
Ancient Earth. Yeah, I get it.
I've never taken a calculus class in my life. That's an honest fact.
I took pre-cal and I flunked out into drama classes.
Yeah.
So
you're more the touchy-feely type than the cold, just the facts man type.
Yeah.
So
sure.
Picard, the leader of the audience, his name is Radu.
Rad dude.
It's
been
it's
short.
It's a portmanteau.
Portmanteau, is that what it's called?
Yeah,
when you kind of bring the two together. Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't know if I was pronouncing it right.
I think that's how.
Portmanteau.
I don't know if I've read it. I've never heard it.
Yeah, likewise. He starts screaming at Radu like he's an ivory dealer, which is a very subtle reference. If you get that joke, let us know. Do you get that joke?
I get that.
Okay. But Radu isn't hearing it. He's like, I don't give a shit. He basically says, like, take the deal or we'll fuck you up butt good.
Yeah.
And to prove it to him, they shoot the Enterprise and they send him away. They send him away. Like, they send
3 days away.
Yeah,
right?
It's so far away. They don't even measure it in distance. They measure it in days. They're like, how far away are we?
The Enterprise.
How many miles? Like miles. We're like 3 days away, dude. And that's like at warp, like a
9.
Yeah, like crazy. Like
that's the fastest they go.
Like
that's
super
pedal
fast.
to the metal.
So meanwhile on the planet, Wesley is shown this supercomputer that the audience call the Custodian.
Classic Trek style. They're being run by a giant computer.
A giant smart computer that's almost like sentient.
That lives in a room.
It runs everything, and the audience are too stupid to know how it works by this point.
Right.
They're like the fatso idiots from WALL-E. Except they're not fat; they're just idiots.
No, they're just all artists, and they're all touchy-feely types like me. It'd be like if I was running.
If you were running a planet, yeah. Before the Enterprise got bombarded, Dr. Crusher was able to sneak a tricorder off.
And she had Wesley help her do a scan, didn't she?
Well,
that hasn't happened.
Well, yeah. Wesley distracts her while she scans some dude to see why are your nuts all shriveled up. And she finds, and while they're making the trip back to the planet on that 3-day trip, she finds out that they're all sterile because of a hole in the ozone layer.
Yep.
Which means it's not genetic and that
it's radiation.
And Wesley, king of kids and his subjects, are going to be subject to the same shriveled genitalia fate.
Right.
And this is because of the shield that they have that keeps them invisible.
But it also is burned through.
Chomping at their
ozone. It's been Pac-Manning. It's like their ozone layer, like it's a power pellet.
It's like a giant. It acts as a giant Aquanet hairspray bottle. For those who remember the 80s. Those are still around.
That's kind of fucked up.
Is it?
That they still make the spray?
It holds better. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's depleting the ozone, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. How does that work? I don't know. I'm, again, touchy-feely type.
I don't want to know.
I'll write a poem about how I feel about it.
The kid who hates math.
Right.
He apparently loves sculpting.
Loves woodshop.
Loves woodshop with a tiny lightsaber. What is this thing?
It's pretty cool. Whatever it is.
He makes a dolphin, which is dope. And they're dolphins from the ancient Earth.
Is it a fish? Not really.
Not really. I'm all, in addition to woodshop, I'm also really good at marine biology.
I wanted to be a marine biologist, but I'm terrified of the water. So at the age of 6, I was put on a calculus track instead of a marine biologist track.
So he's fine with his new sitch.
Right.
He's like, this is great.
This is the dopest.
He asked, I guess his new kidnapping, his new Stockholm dad.
He's like, do I have to do calculus?
And he's like, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do ever again.
And this kid's like, fuck yes.
I don't want to wear pants.
I'm going to make dolphins walk around just swinging free.
Hanging dong. That's going to be great. There's one little girl, and this was really sad. She's really...
The little redhead?
Yeah, she's good with instruments. She's very musically inclined, and this old dude, showing her how to work this instrument. She's doing kind of good. He's like, great, do you want to keep doing this?
And you play it based on your feelings.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. And he's like, will you play something happy? She's like, I don't feel very happy right now. I miss my mom or whatever. And I'm like, that's super fucked up.
I know. I was getting a little... God, we're turning into sad old men. I was getting choked up by that little kid pretty much anytime she was on screen. And the woman who's, like, obsessed with her, like, because the little girl's supposed to go to a different family, but that woman's like, no! This one's mine!
Like, lady, you need to chill the fuck out. So Wesley can't have kids. They're like, look, we have to make them not want us, so we all have to act like little Gandhis, like little obnoxious Gandhis.
Yeah.
Basically using passive resistance. They want to go home, and Radu's like, Picard, your kids are being little fuckwits down here. Come fix them.
Come discipline them.
And so he beams down, and by this point, they figured out how to be able to beam through that shield.
Right.
So Riker and Data do that. They shut off the custodian, which means nothing works.
Right.
And Dr. Crusher cracks an egg of knowledge on them, and it's like, it's people or something. Like, yeah,
I can help your dicks work again.
And I can make your eggs fertile. She screams all of this, and
all of it in front of all these children.
And they're like, "That's gross." And all the kids are like, "Wesley, your mom's weird." He's like, "You don't know the half of it." But the audience is like, "Okay, cool, we accept this." Like that
will be acceptable. You can have your children back.
Yeah, you can have your kids back and fix our baby making parts.
And they have a couple nice moments in this episode of Picard being uncomfortable with children.
Yeah, like the little redhead girl
jumps into his arms.
And he's just like,
like his head's back. He's holding her. And then she comes to say goodbye. She comes and brings him a present, right?
I thought it was like a drawing, right? Wasn't it?
Something. I can't remember, but she accidentally sticks her stuffed tribble on his back. And the rest of the crew's like laughing at him like he's got a kick me sign on their back.
Yeah.
And that's how the episode ends.
And that's how it ends, with them disrespecting their captain.
The man who holds their lives in his hand.
Fucking dicks.
And has no sense of humor whatsoever. Well, he's got a little bit of a sense of humor.
Home Soil is the next episode.
This one felt very much like an old Star Trek episode to me.
You want to take the reins on this one? You seem to have liked this one more than I did.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the Enterprise is going to Valara 3, which is a terraforming colony, and they're behind schedule,
and they're like they go there to be like, I guess
it's like Darth Vader at the beginning of Return of the Jedi.
Exactly. Be like, the Emperor's not going to be pleased. The Emperor? I mean, the Starfleet.
Command, whatever. I'm going to force choke you.
Okay.
That does exist in this universe. When they show up, though, the director, Kurt Mandel, is kind of a dick. He's like, no, you need to leave.
Yeah, like, we're doing just fine.
Right, and...
talks like Roz from Monsters, Inc. Picard! Always watching! Have you seen Monsters University?
Have you?
No.
I want to.
I do too, and I have a kid now, so it's total excuse. Although it's one of those where it's you don't need a kid.
No, you don't. It's Pixar.
But at the same time, we went to go watch The Croods at the Dollar Theater,
right?
And it was specifically just so I could see how she behaves and reacts in a movie theater, and she seemed to be fine. She sat on my lap, she ate some popcorn, but about an hour in, she was wanting to start walking around and play as, I guess, as normal 2-year-olds are wont to do.
I don't think I started going to movies until I was 3. And even then, my dad still had to tell me. I remember very specifically seeing Masters of the Universe in the theater, and my dad telling me to sit down more than once.
And then again, I don't want to be that parent that brings their kids in to Django Unchained on Christmas Day.
What a horrible thing to do to a child.
It's the first movie. It's the first movie you ever watched, dude. Jaden, I assume his name is. What's the first movie you ever watched, Jaden? Django Unchained, Christmas, 2012.
I was 3.
Oh, yeah, that was a baby. I was an infant.
Oh, okay.
Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, you remember. You were there. You didn't save me a seat.
I didn't?
Well, you guys did, but when I tried to call you didn't pick up. Oh. And so I literally sat in the front row at the very end next to these two New Jersey
bros.
Yeah, it seemed like it. Oh
well. So yeah, Picard orders an away team to the service anyway. And once they get there, one of Mandel's team is killed by a laser.
It's like a laser. Well, it's like
a laser arm. It's a drilling laser.
It's like those robot arms that you always see like in like early '90s movies.
Right.
That has a laser on it.
Or that Tony Stark still has in his lab.
Yeah.
In the Iron Man pictures, if you're familiar with those.
Yeah, that one has personality though.
Yeah, it really does.
Which is weird. Kind of when you think about it.
Yeah, that thing died. Iron Man, spoiler alert, right?
I mean,
he had to have, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, everything died, pretty much.
Yeah.
Everything died. His cars died. Only his suits.
His flat-screen TV died.
His flat-screen TVs, his bed.
His liquor collection.
You think Tony Stark has a waterbed? Does anyone have waterbeds anymore?
I don't think he has a waterbed.
Does anyone?
I mean, he does now.
Does anyone have a waterbed?
There probably
are waterbeds still a thing?
Well, my assumption is that there are waterbeds that still exist. Kind of like you can still find an iPod mini out in the world that somebody may still be using, but surely nobody's manufacturing them anymore, right? Or there's one guy in New Jersey still manufacturing
the waterbed king.
The waterbed king who sells them to motels that rent to 17-year-olds on prom night.
Yeah.
Because that's what I think of when I think waterbed is. I think sleazy dude, hairy chest, gold chain.
Yeah. Or two 17-year-olds having sex.
Or children. Who don't understand what fancy is and they mistake tacky for classy.
They're like, look at these turquoise and purple curtains. Check out this waterbed.
This is how adults live.
This is the life, baby. Stick with me. And then...
Then he gets the job at the tire dealership?
Then he never calls her again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, I was going...
The tire dealership?
Yeah, the tire dealership, the tire store. The discount tire.
The tire store. The tire mart. The tire shoppy.
I don't know what you call them. So the dude gets killed by a laser, and... while Data's trying to check it out, the laser attempts to kill him, but Data fucks it up because he's
Data, obvious.
Unfortunately, it all happens off camera because there's a door and you just hear all this awesome shit happening off screen.
And then the door opens up and Data's like, had to fuck that shit. Had to fuck that fucker shit up.
Yeah. Let's see. He finds that the programming of the laser had been rewritten to fire on the staff.
So now they have to figure out who did that.
Right.
Picard,
so they beam all the colonists up, right?
Well, Picard assumes that, something's going on. They have a mole or something.
Right.
Someone's...
fucking shit up on purpose.
Yeah.
So he beams them all up, right?
Yeah.
And Riker goes to visit the pretty one.
Of course.
Right? Because,
he's Riker.
He's Riker, and that's his prerogative.
I've noticed he likes to... I don't know.
Comfort the women.
It's...
Hear the lamentation of the women.
It's not a creepy smile.
But it's his, I'm being very charming smile. It is a little creepy. It's a little off-putting. And I don't know if it's just because he doesn't have his beard yet.
In the Arsenal of Freedom, there's one point where he's talking about his homie, Captain Paul Rice. Mm-hmm. And just the way he smiles when he discusses how that dude's a badass. He doesn't give a shit about anything. Just the way, I don't know, there's something about his smile, it's
smarmy.
Is it smarmy?
I think a little bit. When I don't think it's meant that way, but I think there's something weird, and I think it was wise of him to grow the beard, because I think when he smiles with the beard, it doesn't look that way anymore.
Okay.
Because
But, it's not anything he's not, saying this, trying to fuck anyone.
There's nothing insincere about it.
He's there's this dude, I used to know him back in the day, he was totally cool, he took a test once and it was given 3 options. He made his own option. Now the test has 4 options.
What up?
Yeah, it's not oh, what's up? Let's go home with you. I don't it's obvious there's no ulterior motive.
I don't know if maybe he just hasn't found the character yet, because I think the character is supposed to be sort of a ladies' man, but he's also incredibly decent. And I don't think they've quite figured out how to... Or maybe it's just the way we're watching the show as modern viewers, as watchers of Game of Thrones, this guy probably fucks kids or something, right? That's why he gets along with them so well.
That's how... there's something to this character. There has to be.
He can't be this nice. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But you're right. There is something about that smile. I remember noticing it early on and being that's weird.
So they find this crystal.
Yeah, they find this crystal hiding down a tube.
Dr. Crusher and Data, they're oh, this ain't no normal crystal.
This is life.
It's alive.
It's non-organic, right?
Yeah.
non-organic life is what they figure out. And the crystal tries to interact